Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining this morning to this webinar. Here with us is the engineer Lovery. Lovery, good morning.
Hello, how are you guys?
Welcome, Lovery, to this webinar. Now we are going to present a webinar about Suprema. The webinar title is CCURE integration. So we are just going to wait a couple of minutes to wait everyone to join this morning, and we are going to start about in 2 or 3 minutes. Just a quick reminder, this webinar will be recorded and sent to your email after this webinar. We will be using the panel on the right side of your screens, so please send us all your questions during the webinar. Lovely, welcome. If you want, we can start now.
All right, so thank you very much for joining us today. If in your time zone it is still morning, or if it's actually afternoon, then thank you for the time that you are spending with us here. I will promise that it is going to be a very useful time. Okay, so let's get started here. This is the table of contents of what we are going to talk about today. A first brief introduction. After that, just mention some features that made the difference in this integration regarding with all the other probably previous integrations and or even parallel integrations to ours. Okay, the challenge that we faced, the result that we encountered, and also a brief demonstration video and what's next about this with the next phases that we have in mind for this integration. So the first thing is that introduction. Okay, what we can tell about ourselves is the first thing that Suprema is a global leader in biometrics and security, and all the technologies related to this that allowed us to through a Suprema a superior engineering biometric algorithms to continually develop and generate very reliable algorithms, performance, and devices that at top of all the things that we can mention is that we will have one of the best in the world class readers for all the things that we are going to work with here. That's one of the things that we can mention about ourselves as Suprema, but also we can say something about Johnson Controls, which in terms is our partner here for this integration. And as you may know them already, Johnson Controls Secure 9000 is one of the top security systems in the market that provides a top class access control while empowering customers to utilize IT standards tools and distributed architecture, also granting security professionals the freedom to deploy a unique security solution for their entire business. Okay, so like you can see in the screen for the previous slide and this slide is that we have the union of two of the best in the market of access control, so that we will have a top also integration. So why did we work in this integration? The first reason, probably several projects around the globe, not also Latin America region, and I'm speaking about all the Latin American countries, and both in North, Central, South America, and also in the Caribbean. So about this is that there are most of them also outside Europe, Asia, and others. So those are the primary concerns why we started to work in this integration. Also, the market itself urged for a direct integration between manufacturers. There are many reasons about that, but yes, so the market itself made us work in this integration. So actually, we are very glad that we did. Okay, and why? Because with this integration, we have freedom to manage the integration, the features, the models. As I was saying in the previous webinar, in this integration, we can say that if some model of our equipment has just released a new firmware version, we do not need for someone else to integrate that version into the integration. It would be something like if today the new release is being made, that means that in the same day the integration is already supporting it. And that's one of the most very cool things that we can have with this integration that we did not have access to in the previous one or in the other integrations that are out there besides this one. Okay, so besides that, we can also mention about the reliability of this integration compared to others, the performance, of course, the scalability as well, and moreover, the licensing itself. So this is one of probably the top difference that actually make the difference here with this integration regarding to any other. And this is the licensing that we have, which is perpetual, is permanent. Okay, you do not need to pay every once in a while for renewing this integrations license. So as I was saying, the features that make the difference between this and any other, it is the direct integration between manufacturers. We do not need to ask a third party here to do something. We can just go ahead and do it, and that's it. Okay, so about that, we can also say that we are uniting, or we are combining here, the quality of Johnson Controls access control panels with the integration with Suprema, with the biometrics and all the algorithms that we have at Suprema to form a top-in class in the world, a class of integration with this. Okay, so we also got as a result an integrated security platform that provides comprehensive functionalities for biometrics authentication as well. Okay, right. So if you ask about security, one of the things that we will say is that we encrypt not only the personal data used for authentication, such as passwords and credentials, fingerprint templates, and facial templates, but all available data that may be linked to an individual, so we can enhance security and safety for our customers. So in the side of type products, they may have already security applied for their data, same as we do with BioStar 2. And with all the data that is also in the middle, everything is being secured, stored also securely. So we will have the confidence to say that the data is secure also. Okay, so the biometrics performance benchmarking locates Suprema as in top-in class in the world for biometrics authentication and performance. And here that we have made this in bold font, the device's endurance through the time. And as I was also giving the comment in the previous webinar, that this is not just something written in paper. This is a reality. And how we know that? It is the same customers who come to us and say, hey, Suprema, thank you, because I have your devices for over 10 or 15 years already, and the same devices are still working without any trouble, without any problem, without any issue. So that is the confidence that we have received from our customers that lead us to say that when you are acquiring Suprema devices, you will have a platform that will endure the time without losing performance, without losing quality, without losing any of those things that actually took you to buy Suprema and not any other brand. So that's one of very important things that we can say, that we can also assure to you. If you trust Suprema to work within this integration, you will not repent, of course. So the result at the end of the day, it is the integration that we have named Suprema CCURE 9000 integration, okay? So what are the system requirements for you to have in mind or to bear in mind? If you have a small or medium server, probably you will need at least 16 gigabytes of RAM memory, probably SQL Server 2019, but you of course can work with previous version, but if the newer you can have, the best will be, of course. An operating system, probably Windows 10 or Windows 7 2022. 2019 and some others also work, but again, if you can have the latest version, that will be best. Besides that, we also take in account the class of servers. If you have a bigger requirements for those, then higher requirements for those, then you can use probably a bit more of RAM memory, and along with the same requirements in terms of the database or the operating system. Besides what Suprema requires, it is not much more that you can actually see in the screen. So that's why we have not put something different for CCURE and another kind of tech specs for BioStar or the Suprema devices, because our software does not require much resources. So if you have these resources that are actually the requirements for a CCURE server, then you will be able to use the same PC, not other, but just the same PC, along with the integration itself without having any problems or any troubles. Okay, so if you ask what kind of credentials can we manage or can we work with through this integration, these are the credentials that you have in the screen. And also about the support for the Suprema devices, this will be the devices that you have in the list here in the screen. As you can see, our 5G devices, we have the X-Bus 2 family and also the XStation 2 family. And for facial devices and fingerprint devices, in the case of facial devices, you have FaceStation F2. And for the other, it is BioStation 3 that probably you have already known. That is actually the latest addition that Suprema has for devices in the models. And for the fingerprint devices, we have the BioEntry family, which will comprise the BioEntry P2 and BioEntry W2 as well. And also we have the BioLite N2, which is the successor for the BioLite Net device. And also, besides those, we have the BioStation family, which comprises the BioStation 2, BioStations A2, BioStation L2, and also will include the BioStation 2A, which is an upcoming device that we have just released recently, which is like the second revision for the BioStation 2 device. Okay, so please do not be confused. This is BioStation 2A. And another device that is also here on the screen is BioStation A2. So we have these two variations in the BioStation 2A and also A2. Okay, BioStation L2 as well, and the fingerprint model for the XStation 2, of course. Then, what devices are not supported in this integration? BioEntry R2, also the Core Station and the FaceStation 2 and FaceLite. That actually they are bound to be end of life very soon. I'm speaking about FaceStation 2 and FaceLite. So that was the reason, the primary reason why we did not include these facial devices into this integration. Okay, so let's jump into the next slide that will allow you to see all the list that we have in the previous slide, but just with a graphical exemplification that will allow you to understand better in case that you do not relate the name with the device. So if you have already any of these devices, you will say it's probably like, oh, I have this or that one, then you already know. Probably you saw that before, but you did not know the exact name of the model. But then, okay, you have it here in just one slide, every supported device comprised. Okay, so you can have the reference of these devices, and after that, you will be able also to make any quotation about this. Okay. So if you wondered about the architecture, how did we build this integration, this will be the topology, the system topology that we used. So if you allow me to explain a bit about that, you will have the first element here as the Suprema CCURE 9000 integration service in itself, that will, through, as you can see here, through SDK and API, communicate through the CCURE 9000 server and the CCURE 9000 client as well, to be able to actually enclosure all the Suprema functionalities inside the CCURE personal tab. Okay, that in the video that we are going to show you today, you will see what we are talking about. So that's the first thing, or the first element probably, and the second element will be the Biostar2 server service in itself, which is not going to be graphically managed, but we are going to use only the backend service, you know, the backbone of all the service itself that is managing the Suprema devices, so we can make the combination of this so that we will make the system work flawlessly. Okay, so you connect the Suprema biometric devices through TCP IP to the service running in the background, and also you may have a WIGAN or OSDP connection between Suprema devices and the iStar controllers, and the door will be managed by the iStar controller directly. Okay, so besides that, you will have also the ability to configure the system, the integration service itself, through a web tool, which we have named Suprema CCURE Integration Configuration Tool. Okay, so what will you be able to do in this tool? The first, and you will see it up ahead in the video that we are going to show you today, you will be able to see the registration of a license for the integration, some settings that you will be able also to apply within this tool. And besides that, you will also have the ability to add devices and configure automatically devices to the integration to synchronize users, also to configure the card formats and keys, and also make some other cool stuff here. So let's keep ahead and let me show you what I am talking about here. So we recorded this video when we just released this integration. We have two different installers available, one for server and the other for the clients. So if you have both secure server and client in one PC, then you can manage it without any problem. And if you happen to have a different PC for the server and other PCs, and I mean in plural, for the administration workstation, then you need to only install the client complement for them, and it will be ready for work right out of the box. So we continue here with configuration. That will be the first thing that you will see in your screen. That configuration, sorry, that the integration is not licensed. So the first step is going up to the settings and start the licensing procedure. Okay, so you click settings, you scroll down a little bit, you entered the serial, the license serial number that we will provide you with. And after that, you write your customer name or just a reference name, and we'll be able to um, activate the license. Okay, so that will be very much the first step. After that, all the options will be enabled for you to work. One of them is a connection to CCURE itself, that if you don't know how to do it, then you pick the data from SQL, and after that you configured the users with the SQL authentication. And right after that, if you want to configure the language for the tool, we have available here English and Spanish, if you may use any of them. And also you may configure the session timeout. Okay, those are very much the first steps that you will be applying here in the integration tool, as we show you in the topology, the main topology for the system. And right after that, you go ahead and add devices. And if you compare this integration with some others that are out there, you will see that this integration is very much just easy to understand and use. Very, very, very easy to work with, you know, so very intuitive for even the communications and all the configurations that you may apply. So you need no training, actually. You just need to read and you click up and that's it. Okay, so we offer you here two different ways of finding and configuring devices automatically. And one is the normal search, which is driven by UDP, and the advanced search, which is working with TCP, one-to-one communication. So once you scan for the device, then you just click up the device, you hit add, and that's it. Besides that, the integration already takes care of configuring the main features needed for the integration to work. And if you go back to that, you will see that all devices are in green. That means that the configurations have already finished. Okay, so you will have a summary saying what device are you configuring or working with. Okay, so after that, you go to the user setting, which allows you to send the existing users to CCURE. And after that, you can also configure the car format settings. That means probably a facility code that you will do the same in CCURE in the car format keys. Okay, as we can show you here in the screen, you will have the ability to configure any of these settings for Wigan specifically. Okay, as you can see there, we have already configured the main facility code, and we entered the same facility code there. And besides that, we click the formats that we are going to handle. If you can see here, the monitor format of 36-bit is the format that we have configured between CCURE and other devices. In case that you may not want to work with any physical card, you will be able still to work with this integration. Okay, so this would be like a virtual format for exchanging information between devices and the panel. Okay, so that format is, you know, very simple and straightforward. So needs no complications. You start to go to the bottom and you start to make the configuration. Right after we leave the screen, we just need to save the changes, and once we do this, all the things will be already available. Okay. hit accept after we've read the notice, and we are ready to continue. Okay, we go right ahead to CCURE, and we open and we start the registration for a new user. Here I'm opening the monitoring station so that before doing any enrollment, you can see how it looks if I try to make any validation through the devices. So we will have a rejected event because we have not registered yet any credential, not cards, not fingers or facial credentials. Okay, so that's the first thing that we do is a test, right? So right after that, we start the registration of a new user. Okay, so once I have written this, the first values for it, I just hit save. And once I hit save, after that, I go to credentials and or clearances and add the clearance, which is, you know, the minimal configuration settings that we need for the user to work. And right after that, as you can see, you will be seeing the Suprema tab inside of the Suprema Biometrics Enrollment view for the personal. Okay. Right after that, we are here and we see that the synchronization has been already done. Once we do this, we will see the information as a summary here, the same information that we have in the general tab in the credentials tab. For CCURE, we will see that information displayed here in the user summary, and we'll be able to scan a card directly there, so we can pick up the data. That would be easier for us to register the card here in CCURE directly. Okay, so you see that I'm writing here the facility code and also the card number, just checking up the activation and expiration dates. And after that, I go back to the Suprema tab, just see that the information is being synchronized automatically. And just once I hit the button OK, the card templates changes automatically. Okay, if I do a double click here and also a double click here, you will see that the data is displayed in the panel, and that allows me to just delete the card and manage the card. Okay, so the first step, as I tell you once again, is you give a double click here in the summary, then that will open whatever data I have available here in the credentials, depending on the type of credential that I will be managing. And after that, if I hit double click also here, then that will display the type of credential here in the panel, and that will allow me to manage the data. Okay, so right after this, I go again and just I am testing here and showing how the integration synchronize everything automatically. Okay, so that will be the first. And the second thing, it will be to work with, I just do this procedure once again, just showing the different ways that we can use to enroll cards. Okay, either if I do it from here in the first instance, or if I do it from the credentials and then just go back here and get the synchronized data and so on. Okay, so after this, we come to the fingerprint templates. The first thing that is important to notice here is the enrollment minimum quality. This is very important because it's the minimum threshold that the data, the scan data, needs to accomplish with. Okay, so in order to work without any trouble. So I am testing here the timeout for the registration. That's the first test that I am doing. The second test, it is utilizing the finger But one of the comprobations that we do here, it is whether I have scanned the same finger twice to confirm the data that I'm about to enroll. That is one of the things. He says fingerprint failed because it was not the same finger. But then if I scan the same finger, then I will be able to just accomplish with the verifications. The second test that I do is, well, I go here and enroll the data. Then if I click up the data, you will see that it will display just the same as with the cards. And that will allow me to delete also the data if I want to do that. The second compromission that we do here, it is probably it's actually the third. The first one is the timeout. The second one, whether I am scanning the same finger. And after, if all the data that I have already scanned for one finger and I have already enrolled for one finger, those that data is it already enrolled to someone else, even the same user. Yeah, so that will allow me to avoid any data duplication. Okay, so that will be the second finger. If you see in the screen, if I try to enroll a finger that is already enrolled to some other user, that will also tell me you cannot enroll this data because it already belongs to any other user. Okay, so that will be for the fingerprint enrolling. Right after that, if I come to the device and I try to perform the authentication, you will see that I have done so in the XStation 2 device. Okay, and after that, I come to the facial credentials enrollment. For the facial credentials enrollment, I have two different kinds of enrollment here. One is the direct scanning of the faces from the devices, and the second one is performing a pre-enrollment using a pictured. Okay, so important to see here. The first thing, or the first time that I enroll a template, I will be able to see this, and of course I will be able to also work with the facial template right out of the box. But also I can upload the data from the device from an existing picture, and then that will also work. Okay. All right. So now let's go and try to perform a authentication. And you see that I was admitted to the ViaStation 3 device. Okay. Now we'll try with a picture as a pre-enrollment. So the integration will be able to examine the picture that we are selecting in order for us to ensure that there is a data, facial data inside of the picture. And if actually I have a face there, then we'll be allowed to just select that, double click it to cut just the face out of the picture and utilize that facial data to the pre-enrollment data so that the device can finish extracting the template once the user is presenting himself in front of the device. Okay. So this is actually very important to mention. We do not handle only 2D enrollment data. Okay. That's why we say that it's a pre-enrollment. once the user has presented himself the first time in front of the device finishes the procedure to extract the 3D data from the real face. Okay, that actually when we do the procedure directly from the scanning of the device, then we do that in one shot. But in the case that we may want to just do some pre-enrollment, then we can use a picture. Okay, as you have just seen in the screen, when we are trying to utilize a picture that does not have a face, then the integration will take care of telling you that you cannot use that picture. Okay, so I repeat the process of pre-enrolling with a picture once again, and after that, I will perform one more um, authentication with the face, and that will be the finish for the demonstration. So this is it. You see that I was already admitted there. Okay. All right. So what's next? The next phase is estimated for December this year to finish the enhanced version for this integration. We have two versions, the basic version, which is the one that you have just seen in the demonstration video, and the enhanced version, which will be including also the remote pre-enrollment that will be individual and also massive, and that will allow you to send through an email a link that will allow the person to utilize his own or her own mobile device to send the pre-enrollment data all the way to the system, so that when the person arrives, the data will be already there. Also, the handling of the QR for the secure visitor. Okay, that is also very important. Also, the devices and licenses smart detection, and also the clearances and selective user synchronization. That for those will be one of the most important ones features that we will be including in the enhanced version that it is estimated to be released on December this year. And besides that, the next phase will be the Suprema, also the enhanced version, that will be adding the QRs for Suprema QRs. We will be handling, like we said here, the secure visitor QR through by station 3. But if you will be wanting to use the QR also as a credential, then will you able to utilize it with the Suprema X station and other Suprema devices that handle the QR. Also, you'll be always able to use the AirFirst Pass application as a mobile credential. And also, we are planning to add support for the secure enterprise for the MAS and SAS servers. Okay, so please stay tuned for these upcoming releases. And if you are interested in knowing how is the technical support going to be provided, then you only need to open free account in our support with the website, which is, as you see in the screen, support.supremainc.com. You register yourself, and then you open a ticket. But also we have tons of data already available there. You only need to hit up search for it. If not, then as I'm saying, then you can open a new support ticket, and we will support you there. Okay, so that's it for today. Do you have any questions that we may be answering right now? Otherwise, we will be in touch with you through the emails, okay, or social media.
Right now, Labri, it looks like we don't have any questions. If you want, we can wait for a couple of minutes to see if someone asks something, okay? Well, thank you, Laurie. Thank you for sharing this valuable information about Suprema, and thank you everyone for your time this morning. Let us know about your next project. We have our support team at EPCOM ready to help you. As we mentioned before, this webinar will be sent to your email. Laurie, again, thank you so much for your time and for your information. And have a great day, Laurie. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys too for the space. May you have a blessed week. God bless you.
Bye-bye, Laurie.
Bye-bye.